I am Jaina Bosonko, and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studio on Kairaba Avenue. Thanks for joining us. Eid Mubarak once again to our Muslim viewers who celebrated Tabaski over the weekend. Now here are the main local news headlines, international as well as sports. Gambian pilgrims have completed the 3-day symbolic stoning of the devil at Minna. Still in Saudi Arabia, the Gambian ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Omar Gabriel Saleh, on Wednesday visited Gambian pilgrims and Hajj operators. The Commissioner of Police for Kanifing Municipality calls on police officers to engage and build strong working relationships with the public to help strengthen policing in communities they serve. In international news, today's World Population Day celebrated to create awareness of the consequences of the growing global population. Sri Lanka's government is forced to stand down following mass protests which saw the presidential palace and prime minister's residence attacked by thousands of protesters. In sports news, over the weekend, a series of exciting final group games were played in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. After the dust has settled, all the big teams had safely survived through to the quarterfinals. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Thank you for joining us, and I am Jaina Bosonko. You're watching QTV News. Now, Gambian pilgrims have completed the 3-day symbolic stoning of the devil at Minna. The ritual that began on the day of Eid al-Adha saw pilgrims throw a total of 49 stones at the 3 jamrats. Babu Karsisa witnessed the occasion, and he now reports.
There are 3 jamrats or pillars at Minna where the symbolic stoning of the devil takes place. They are called the big pillar, the medium or middle pillar, and the small pillar. This ritual is intended to remind Muslims of the devil or Satan's persistent effort to lead the faithful astray, especially when it appeared before Prophet Ibrahim to convince him not to obey Allah's command to slaughter his son Ismail. A total of 49 stones are collected at Muzdalifah by each pilgrim on the day of Arafat. Arriving at Minna on the day of Eid al-Adha or Tabaski, each pilgrim must throw 7 stones at the big Jamarat only, known as Jamarat al-Aqaba. After the first stoning, pilgrims can now take off their white clothes called ihram and wear any regular clothing. On the second day of it, 7 stones are thrown at each of the 3 jamarats, beginning with the small, then the medium, and the big one, making a total of 21 stones for the day. The same action is repeated on the 3rd day of Eid, bringing the total to 49 stones for each pilgrim. After this, pilgrims finally leave Minna for Makkah to perform Tawaful Ifada. The distance between Minna and Makkah is about 3 hours walk. Because there is no regular transportation on the day, pilgrims would walk the 7 kilometers to get to Makkah. All Gambian pilgrims have returned from Minna after completing stoning of the devil and are back at their respective hotels preparing for Tawaful Ifada. Babu Karsisa, QTV News, Makkah, Saudi Arabia.
Still on Hajj matters, as the Gambian ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Omar Gabriel Saleh, on Wednesday visited Gambian pilgrims and Hajj operators in Makkah ahead of the Hajj, which began on July 7th. He told pilgrims that President Adama Barrow has taken pilgrims' welfare seriously and is wishing them a successful Hajj. Here's an excerpt from Babu Karsisa in Makkah.
His Excellency the President has asked me to come and greet them and to welcome them on his behalf, and to check whether they have any problems since their arrival. As the envoy of the President in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, it is our duty, it is my duty in particular, to make sure that each and every pilgrim is welcomed in the right manner, and to ensure that the Gambian pilgrims are given warm welcome, and the hospitality should also be proper in befitting in accordance with the relations between the two countries. I extended, on behalf of His Excellency the President, his greetings and also exhorted them to pray not only for the Gambia, but also to pray for the Ummah. I also asked them to pray for His Excellency the President, the government, and the people of the Gambia. The pilgrims, as far as I have seen, I have no problems whatsoever. I also informed them that the medical personnel that are with them are here to serve them. And if they have any medical conditions that cannot be treated by our doctors, the King, His Majesty, the custodian of the two holy mosques, has put at the disposal of all the pilgrims all the health facilities the Saudi government can provide, free of charge. I also ensured them that the President of the Gambia is thinking about them daily. And in fact, before I left, he instructed me to make sure that all of them are treated well, and if they need any assistance, we should render it to them 24/7. So this is my mission here. I'm glad that I have met all of them, and the agencies are also very thankful to the government for the assistance that have been given them. I am very happy to report that so far what I have seen, things are going on very well, and I am sure they will all accomplish their religious rights and return back home in good health.
That is all on Hajj matters. Now, the Commissioner of Police for Quarterfinals Municipality, Omar Dabo, has called on police officers to engage and build strong working relationships with the public to help strengthen policing in communities they serve. He was speaking on Thursday at the closing ceremony of a 2-week intensive course for 20 police officers on community policing. And Sumana Isonyasi has the rest of that.
A strong advocate for community policing, Commissioner Dabo was addressing participants of a GIZ-funded intensive program on community policing. Dabo believes that to have a peaceful and law-abiding society, the police should work closely with the communities they serve. He invites the force to organize frequent engagements with the communities and build trust.
If you work hard and you train more people on community policing, you talk to them to be better listeners. Every individual, every citizen matters. So give them your time. Give them your time. And give them your services. They are the people paying you. They want your time. Don't say they are foolish. Listen to them. Be very good listeners so that you can help them to go up front with one situation that they have or the other. But if you are always in offices and you're not talking to people, you're not listening to them, you don't hear from them, you will not know how you go about it.
He went on to add that without public support, reforms in the police service will achieve little or no success. Hence the need to work closely with the public.
And you will see that you are moving forward yourself as a police officer. And that makes you proud of yourself and you're happy. So that's it. As I said, I challenge you to do it and involve the communities. Do it wherever you are. If you are in Soma, call the people in Soma. Call the police officers and call the community people. Talk to them. Sit them and tell them. Get ideas from them. That is how it works.
He also urges police officers to live up to expectations of the public and continue to maintain the good image of the force, adding that government and the Gambia Police Force management remain committed to supporting its personnel by providing them with all the needed material and moral support.
Everywhere you go, people are free. They move around without problems. The markets are free. There is nobody intimidated and things like that. This is our duty, and it's our function. We have to ensure that the people can move freely without fear or any kind of intimidation. And if that is happening, we are getting back reports that the police are doing fine. Now the traffic is flowing and everything is going. We want to keep on those things because those are what the public asks us to be doing for them. Just that and nothing more. So we have to do it.
Community policing is a law enforcement philosophy that promotes organizational strategies that support the systematic use of partnerships and problem-solving techniques to proactively address the immediate conditions that give rise to public safety issues such as crime, social disorder, and fear of crime. Ansmane Sonyasi for KTV News.
From that story by Ansumane Sunyasi on community policing, we will now go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we have some more local news stories for you, international as well as sports, so do stay tuned.
Save up to 50% energy with the new side-by-side Samsung refrigerator. Samsung air conditioners come with HD filter and antibacterial for your protection. Save time, energy, and effort by using our washing machines, loaded with innovative features that offer superior cleaning technology. Step into the future of television with our slick and slim Samsung Smart TV designs. Sizes range from 32 to 85 inches. Smart LED, Crystal UHD Ultra High Definition, and QLED Quantum Dark LED. Get new ways of interacting with your TV. Unparalleled vision, right from the comfort of your living room. Our products are backed with 1-year warranty. Visit us at Q South Building at Caraba Avenue or at Boosterview Turntable. Contact us on 333-3217 or email us at info@quantumnet.gm.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Jena Basonko. Now, beneficiaries of a pre-Tobaski meat distribution in Sukuta on Saturday among underprivileged families have expressed gratitude to the charity Whipso Gambia for their support. More in this report by Mamudu Gajaga.
As part of their charitable work, Whipso Gambia sacrificed the cow on Saturday and distributed the meat amongst needy Muslims for their Tobaski in Sukuta. The beneficiaries of the gift have expressed satisfaction for this donation. Here is Bobo Kamara, a beneficiary from the Association of the Disabled.
ñu ngi leen di sant bu baax di leen gërëm ci Whipso Gambia.
We are thankful for this gift. We thank Whipso Gambia for this support. For the first time, we are also enjoying our Tobaski without having to worry about how to get a ram, which is so expensive. Imagine one ram costing up to $15,000 a year. We cannot afford them. May Allah bless you.
Another beneficiary who received the meat also says his Tobaski was different from the previous ones. Musa Bajan also thanked Whipso Gambia for their support. I do not have a ram to sacrifice for Tobaski. So when our association's president informed me about the gift, I felt good. I thank Allah because during Ramadan, Whipso charity gives us sugar. May Allah bless you all for this kindness. Seku BK Manjang, headmaster, Darussalam Islamic School in Sukuta, says Whipso Gambia charity organization is known for giving such support even outside Tobaski. Whipso Gambia helped us during Ramadan. They've also helped us with water through the construction of a borehole. This support for Tobaski is another of their many kind gestures to the underprivileged. Mohammed Nyang, CEO of Whipso Gambia, says their charity has extended a hand of support to many needy Muslims during the Tobaski period and will do so at other times.
This year's Eid, Whipso Gambia have distributed 7 cows across the country. One was taken to Basse, the other one Junjur, the other one Faraba. And the 4 remaining cows were brought at Sukuta Pan Africa, where we have witnessed the distribution of the meat to the needy people. 2 cows was given to the Association of the Disabled. We know very well that these are folks that cannot afford ram during this Eid. We know the nature of the country and how high prices are with regards to ram. So Whipso Gambia decided to come up in order to help these needy people.
All those who turned up and received meat went away expressing satisfaction and gratitude to Whipso Gambia. Umudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Now, thumbs up to Whipso Gambia. Now, let's take a look at news beyond our borders.
World population.
Today is World Population Day, celebrated to create awareness of the consequences of the growing global population. In 2011, the world reached a population of 7 billion. This year, the UN forecasts the number will hit 8 billion and that India will surpass China as the most populous country by 2023. Ajabintu Drame has more.
The theme for World Population Day 2022 is a world of 8 billion towards a resilient future for all, harnessing opportunities and ensuring rights and choices for all. The world's population is expected to reach 8 billion by November 15, 2023. The UN State of World Population Report 2022, Seeing the Unseen, which was published on Monday, forecast that India will surpass China as the most populous country on earth in 2023. The forecast by the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs says the world's population is growing at its slowest pace since 1950. In most countries nowadays, couples decide to have 1 or 2 children due to the economic hardship, particularly in cities. The report estimates that the world's population will hit 8.5 billion by 2030 and 9.7 billion by 2050. Peaking at around 10.4 billion people in the 2080s before steadying at that level until 2100. The dramatic growth of world's population has been driven largely by increasing numbers of people surviving to reproductive age and has been accompanied by major changes in fertility rates, increasing urbanization, and accelerating migration. These trends will have far-fetching implications on economies and the environment for generations to come. On Twitter, Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, tweeted, in quote, "Let's focus on every person, on ensuring our world can support our needs and those of future generations, on protecting human rights and the ability of all individuals to make informed choices about whether or when to have children, on leaving no one behind. This is an occasion to celebrate our diversity, recognize our common humanity, and marvel at advancement in health that have extended lifespans and dramatically reduced maternal and child mortality rates," he added. Meanwhile, as a few developing countries observe a drop in birth rates, according to the report, more than half of the rise of factors in the world's population in the coming decades will be concentrated in 8 countries, namely the Democratic Republic of Congo, Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Nigeria, Pakistan, the Philippines, and Tanzania. While it is difficult to manage a large population, the COVID-19 pandemic made countries realize the difficulties in handling a large population, as the pandemic tested most countries' health and education systems and infrastructure. World Population Day educates and prompts the revisiting of policies to address population growth. The day educates females about the laws that are in their respective constitutions about female health and safety, and demands that certain laws should be made to control the population and also for protecting the rights of girls. It took hundreds of thousands of years for the world population to grow to 1 billion. In just another 200 years or so, it grew 7-fold. The 2022 edition of the UNFPA's flagship State of World Population report highlights the alarming figure that almost half of all pregnancies in the world are unintended and explores the health, human rights, humanitarian and socio-economic linkages of unintended pregnancies, including the issues of gender-based violence, the increased barrier women face in accessing reproductive health services in conflict settings, and the risk related to unsafe abortions. The report also includes new data on child marriage and adolescent pregnancy. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
Following mass protests on Saturday, which saw thousands of protesters storm the President and Prime Minister's residence, Sri Lanka's President and his cabinet have agreed to resign to allow for unity government, according to official sources on Monday. Mahmoud Lamin Choi has the rest of that story.
Chaos, political instability and an economic crisis have struck Sri Lanka, and the country's population have lost confidence in their government. This led to public fury, discontent and frustration, sparking a mass protest on Saturday that spiraled beyond control, with crowds demanding the government to step down. Left with no option, the President of Sri Lanka, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, announced that he will step down on Wednesday. The Prime Minister and his cabinet have also announced to resign. On Saturday, thousands of protesters strolled through the capital, Colombo, and hundreds stormed the president's official residence. Video footage shows protesters packing into rooms and corridors of the presidential palace, with some of them splashing in the swimming pool and ransacking the residence. Having realized the looming threat of huge anti-government protests, authorities attempted to quell the protests by imposing a curfew in the capital, but was lifted following objections to it by civil society and opposition parties. Soldiers and the police watched impassively as the overwhelming crowd of protesters converged on government residences and official buildings. With barricades put up in the city and the firing of warning shots in the air by the police, the roving protesters were undeterred from surrounding and entering the presidential residence. The military did nothing to stop the protests. Reports indicate that the president had been moved to a safer location ahead of the dramatic incident. The private home of the Prime Minister was another target, as it was later set on fire by protesters on the same day, hours after he announced he would resign. 3 suspects have been arrested for the arson attack on that building. For months, Sri Lanka, an Asian country of 22 million people, has experienced the worst deteriorating economic crisis it has seen since its independence in 1964. This had led to headline inflation hitting 54.6% last month. In addition, it was announced the country does not have enough dollars to import fuel. The country's central bank has forecast inflation could rise to 70% in the coming month. Protesters accused the president and his cabinet of economic mismanagement and demanded the government's resignation. Leaders of the protest movement have said that crowds will keep occupying the residences of the president and prime minister in Colombo until they finally quit office. One protester says, quote, "We are not going anywhere till this president leaves and we have a government that is acceptable to the people," unquote. Following the resignation of the president, the prime minister and his cabinet, an all-party interim government is to take over the country once a deal is struck. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
From that story by Mahmoud Lamin Choi, let's now take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. Over the weekend, a series of exciting final group games were played in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. After the dust has settled, all the big teams had safely survived through to the quarterfinals. There's all to play for, as all 4 semi-finalists will qualify for next year's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. More in this report.
Ahead of the weekend's clashes, Group A was already settled, and it remained to see who else would make it through to join table toppers Morocco and second-place Senegal in the quarterfinals from the other 2 groups. In Group B, not many would have picked Zambia to finish top of a group, which included Cameroon, Tunisia and Togo. However, they secured top spot in Group B after an emphatic 4-1 hammering of Togo on Saturday. 2 goals by captain Grace Chanda in Rabat helped them to an emphatic victory to finish top of the group on 7 points. The teams went in at half-time, with Zambia leading 3-1 and looking totally in control. Zambia looked comfortable, even though they added only 1 more goal in the second half. The result means Zambia's reward for finishing top of their group is a clash with Senegal, who finished second in Group A. Togo's single point mean they exit the competition. Zambia's captain Grace Chanda was deservedly named Woman of the Match. Going into their final game, with them and Tunisia on 3 points, Cameroon on 2 from true draws, there was everything to play for. In the end, Cameroon emerged 2-0 winners over Tunisia. A tight first half saw Cameroon go in with a slender 1-0 lead. An early strike by attacker Michaela Abam and a late goal from Ajara Njoya were enough to give the indomitable Lionesses the win. Ajara Njoya was justifiably named Woman of the Match and was carried aloft by her teammates. Despite their defeat, Tunisia also advanced to the last 8 as one of the best third-place teams, as they finished third in their group on 3 points. Cameroon's second-place finish means they will now face defending champions Nigeria, while third-place Tunisia will take on the team everyone wants to avoid, Group C winners South Africa. South Africa, who have looked unbeatable so far, made a tougher task of it than many predicted in the Southern African derby against Botswana. 18-year-old Magia came off the bench to replace Thembi Katlana to score the only goal of the match in the 80th minute. News has since come through that woman of the match, Katlana, will miss the rest of the competition after sustaining a complete rupture of her left Achilles tendon. She will be a huge loss to South Africa, who won all 3 group games. They now face Tunisia in their quarterfinal. Despite their defeat to South Africa, Botswana still sailed through to the quarterfinals for the first time as one of the 2 best-placed third-place teams, thanks to their 4-2 victory over Burundi in their opening group match. They faced Morocco in the quarterfinals. Defending champions Nigeria went into their last match not having impressed many so far, and they had to redeem themselves with a resounding 4-0 victory over Burundi to secure a place in the quarterfinals. However, the Super Falcons thrashed the debutants thanks to 2 goals by Uchenna Kanu in Rabat. Atletico Madrid star Rashidat Ajibade opened the scoring in the 25th minute after converting from the spot after she was brought down in the box. Effie scored her first international goal to double the advantage for Nigeria moments later before Kanu added another goal before the break. Nigeria went in at half-time deservedly leading 3-0. Kanu scored again with an effort from close range just a minute into the second half, which proved to be the end of the scoring. Nigeria fans who turned up in numbers cheered their team on to victory and had much to be pleased about. Woman of the match went to Osinache Ohale, who said it was her first ever award after 12 years in the Nigerian team. Wednesday's quarterfinals kick off with Zambia taking on Senegal in Casablanca and concludes on that day with host Morocco taking on Botswana in Rabat. The quarterfinals conclude on Thursday with Cameroon taking on Nigeria in Casablanca, followed by South Africa taking on Tunisia in Rabat. There's still much to play for, as all 4 semi-finalists will qualify for next year's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. For QTV News, I am Ade Darami.
From that story by Ade Darami, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Do join us tomorrow, same time for more news. Thanks for watching and have a good evening.